Today, we're diving into the Forza Review Roundup. Is this a must-play racer, or are critics getting carried away again? Plus, Subnautica absolutely detonated in early access with insane player numbers just hours after launch. So what's driving the hype? And GTA 6 pre-order rumors are spiraling out of control. Will we finally learn the price next week? Stick around for all that and more. Welcome, friends, to Good Playing With You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my quest companion, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
We've got a packed show today, but before we dive in, we're only 181 subscribers away from our goal, so if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. All right, with that out of the way, let's hit the headlines of the week. First up, let's talk Forza 6. Now, Lord, I want your opinion on this one because the review scores are just out of control. So essentially, the Forza 6 launched in early access today, May 15th, ahead of full release on May 19th, and the reviews are huge. Developed by Playground Games and published by Xbox Game Studios, it's set in Japan and currently sitting pretty at a 92 on Metacritic, making it the highest rated game of 2026 so far. The basic pitch is familiar but polished. Open world arcade racing, now on the series' biggest Japan map yet, with over 550 cars at launch, and new features like time attack events and tweaked progression system. So here's how the reviews are breaking down. The good came from IGN. They gave it a 10 out of 10. Luke Riley called it the new standard in open world racing. The okay came from Digital Spy, which was an 8 out of 10, and they said it's a really fun game to play, but how long it holds your attention depends on how much you already like racing games. And the harshest, which really wasn't harsh at all, came from Game Reactor UK. They gave it a 7 out of 10 and said, Horizon 6 disappointed for me, arguing that some of the progress from Horizon 5 feels missing and that Playground still isn't experimenting enough. So the headline is pretty simple. Critics think Forza Horizon 6 rules, and even if the few lower scores are basically saying it's still playing the same hits as before. So, Lord, does a 92 make this an automatic play for you, or do you still need to know more about it?
92 is, wow, what a high review score for just a Forza game coming out of, seemingly out of the blue. I can't believe this launched already. Like, this just, like, it wasn't really fully on my radar like it probably should be, but all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we got like I see like 10s out of 10s and like just glowing remarks left and right. It's kind of crazy. And I got to be honest with you, Dan, I think the last one I played, it was Horizon 5, I believe. And
that was the last one. Yes,
that was the last one. And I believe I got that one on Game Pass, which was all the sweeter. Like, I hate to say it, but where I'm at in my life with racers, because back in the day, like I used to play dirt all the time. Like, I don't know if you played any dirt, but like the rally car, that was my jam. That was my jam. Forza was always great, but like I was a dirt guy. And so whenever like Game Pass allowed me to play Forza, no problem. And I feel like that's where I would be at with this game. I'm like, I wish I had my Game Pass still renewing, because this would be a perfect game. Wait, did they say if it is this a Game Pass or no? Did this one not coming?
I think it is.
It is. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so yeah.
It's in early access right now though. So this weekend you had to pay for some sort of bundle, and then next weekend for the general plebes like us will get it. All right.
So yeah, I mean, again, where I'm at, sort of a little bit more Game Passy. I don't know if I would drop the $70 on it, regardless of the killer score. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. It's so funny you mentioned about your love for dirt, because my love was MotorStorm.
Oh,
it was one of the best PlayStation franchises, and I miss it because the car would explode into all these cool pieces.
I played the demo of that so long. When I was at GameStop, that was one of the demos. Woo! Played a lot of MotorStorm. Good stuff.
R.I.P. MotorStorm. Yeah, and you could rewind and
bring that back.
They totally did. Yeah. What happened was at the end, just they released, I think, MotorStorm Apocalypse right around the time of there was some earthquake in Japan, and so it was like, ooh, then that didn't sell very well since they like held it back, and I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about a game that isn't part of a disaster, and that's this one. Look, I think this is, I'm really psyched for Xbox. I'm glad they got their hands on it. I don't really know who this is for. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's for racing fans. Look, you're the same as me. I was so pumped about Horizon 5. I played
I
Horizon
know.
4. And I can
Yeah.
tell you the difference between 4 and 5 really wasn't that big. And now 6 is here. And I'm not saying it's a cash grab, because if the game is launching with 550 cars, the fact that it has a $35 like 30 car pass for all these extra cars makes
Ooh.
sense for DLC, and it sounds cool and all if you're going to get a new car every single week, but it's like, wow, you must be really car crazy. And so I'm like, man, I think maybe the
Yeah.
PlayStation fans, this might be more for them, because we know that that the last Forza was new to them and it sold over 5 million copies. So I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit. But I wanted to ask you, because I was like, I don't know who this is for. Is this for like the bros out there that like, do they walk into GameStops and say, okay, can I get a PlayStation? Can I get a football game? And can I get a car racing game? Like, that's why I'm like, it must be for those people.
It must be like they're trying to go after like the FIFA player, maybe, or the NBA, like 2K. They're like, no, these guys, there's some correlation here. And Forza, see, to me, it's just like, in my mind with Forza, it's still kind of tied to, because remember when the first Xbox launched and the first Forza came out, and that one played so funky? Like it played slow and it was hard.
Well, you can't mix up Forza Horizon and Forza. They're two different franchises. Or so are you thinking of?
I probably am then. Wait,
Yeah.
so they're just totally different?
Yeah. So Forza is just like the sim racer serious business.
Yes.
Horizon is the casual, fun, open world.
Got it. I honestly thought they were still in like the same universe, I guess. But they are, because it's still Forza, right?
Well,
Or
they're
am
two
I
different
getting a little
franchises. They're two different franchises.
two different Oh, okay. To be honest, okay, maybe we just cut all this. But I thought it was the same. Yes, I thought it was the same thing, just like a little bit of a spin-off, not like franchise wise. Huh. I mean, it's definitely for the, yeah, like we're saying, more casual racer, like somebody who just wants an arcadey, just like probably get stoned off a gummy and drive around the world, like.
All right, now you're selling me on it.
Yeah,
now you're selling me.
Now you're going out and buying a physical copy all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like, like I really I don't know. I just think it when I played it, even I was just like, yeah, like this is cool. Like I know we played a few like races, and I saw like your little ghost car running around, which is, I think it's fun.
Yeah, I love that.
It's definitely, yeah, but like I don't know if it's just, maybe I think you probably nailed it, that this is more for, they're like, we got to crank something out fast to get to the PlayStation market and strike while the iron's hot, because there's obviously people trying to buy this game. So I think that's probably where this one is at, and that's why there's not a huge variant, even though they were like 500 cars. That is too many, in my opinion. Now you're getting into like hot water with too many cars. Like,
that's the Pokemon problem, where all the Pokemons keep having more and more. And
yes,
more.
like just get me back to the OG 151 and we'll be good. Yeah. But I mean, good. I'm glad it's a banger for Xbox though.
Agreed. All right. Well, speaking of games that kind of more the same, but a super big hit, we got to talk about Subnautica 2. Subnautica 2 hit early access yesterday, so there's no Metacritic score yet because of the early access situation, but the launch itself was already massive. Unknown Worlds underwater survival sequel sold over 1 million copies in its first hour. Who knows how much it'll go on to sell, because it has over 5 million wish lists, so it's going to be a juggernaut. It also peaked at close to 500,000 concurrent players on Steam just yesterday on day one as well. And the reviews are sitting at a very positive user rating on Steam so far. So by all accounts, this thing could be a huge hit. It's especially wild because this game comes with a lot of baggage that you and I have both been talking about over the past year. Last year, parent company Krafton removed Unknown Worlds leadership including CEO Ted Gill during a legal fight over a bonus worth up to $250 million. In March, a Delaware judge ordered Gill reinstated, restored his authority over the launch, and extended the bonus window to September 15th, 2026, which means this monster launch could put Unknown Worlds right back on track for that huge payday. Since there aren't full reviews yet, here are the early reactions that I was able to grab from the web. The good came from PC Gamer that said, after all that drama, Subnautica 2 is good. The medium came from Games Radar, who says it lays a strong foundation for an improved sequel, but the depths of early access remain murky. And Kotaku gave it the harshest, saying it's a decent start, but Unknown Worlds sequel really needs to trust the player a lot more. So the headline is pretty simple. No formal review score yet, but Subnautica 2 has already launched like a juggernaut. So, Lord, based on all of this launch hype, what are your thoughts? Are you in or are you out? What do you think?
Well, Subnautica 1 wasn't fully my cup of tea. And to be honest, I'm not even sure. I think I played like a little bit, but I watched a lot. This was like the classic Twitch streamer game. Like everyone was playing it, and I definitely got my fill there. And boy, did I love the drama leading up to this game. There was so much weird stuff going on. And am I completely surprised that it actually stuck the landing after all this time? I mean, seems like the reception's pretty good. I'm very surprised, and Steam saying it's very positive, and Jesus, 5 million wish lists, like that
Yeah.
is actually insane. And yeah, I did see the Steam numbers also, like 500K. That's like, I think Slay the Spire too was up there like that. So like
Yep.
that's a mega success. So man, what a crazy launch. I don't know. Is this your cup of tea? Is this something you're gonna jump into? What do you think?
Well, it could be. Okay, a couple of thoughts here. So I want to throw them at you. One, I did play the first one, and I played it on Game Pass, and I couldn't tell my ass from a hole in the ground, and I ended up dying. And yes, it's like, get good. I didn't know what I was doing. But one of the reviews here, Kotaku says it holds your hand too much, and I'm like, sweet, because maybe someone will finally explain what the hell is going on in this game to me. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also interesting was this game is launching in early access for $30. So it's not bad. But I do
That's
hear
not
it's
bad.
on the shorter side though, like more about like maybe 8 hours to 8 to 10 hours of content there. So it sounds content like. Unknown Worlds has said that they're going to support this for the next 3 years and continue to build out different biomes and creatures and all sorts of storytelling and all that sort of stuff for a long time. So long roadmap here. And it launched on Unreal Engine 5. Everyone's talking about how good it looks, how great the water physics are. So that has me interested. I do like a game with a long roadmap, but I want it to be feature complete at launch. So luckily for me, I will be playing it this weekend, but only because it's on Game Pass. And then Unknown Worlds is like, yeah, once we like build out more and we add stuff to it, we're going to raise the price. Now, I don't know if they're saying that because they're trying to scare
Oh,
people into buying it right away at the lower price, or if that's really what's going to happen here. Like Ark and those people are crazy. So it could be here as well. I don't know. So if you are tempted to jump in, now would kind of be the time at the $30 price, I would guess, when it's brand new. But the fact that it doesn't have a lot of content makes me a little bit weary. I'll know more, of course, next week on the podcast.
was the first game only 8 hours of content? Like, huh?
So I think it launched feature complete, and they even
Yeah.
had DLC that was complete, the Frozen one or whatever, the Arctic one. So
I'm kind of surprised there isn't more blowback over that. Eight
well, that's
hours
what
seems
Crafton was saying. Crafton was like, "Why should we pay you the bonus when you're trying to launch this thing unfinished?" You know,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why
I
the
didn't know it
publisher
was
didn't want to pay him.
8 hours is way less than what I would have thought, because people played Subnautica 1 for like freaking ages. Like that was like one of those games I felt like was just like freaking kept going. So
Well, maybe there's more to it
I
than that. Like
yeah.
the reviewers are saying that they finished it in 8 hours, but that's not the
Yeah.
streamers who just live in it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But that's still not a lot. I don't know. But it's just the whole thing kind of surprised me. Like the hype for this game is so real, and I'm a little bit surprised. Like I thought Subnautica in my mind, which is probably just completely incorrect, like many things going on up in my head. I thought it was a little more niche than this. Like, so when I'm hearing about all these insane numbers and like people just begging for the release, little like guess I'm a little surprised, but I can't wait to hear what you have to say after you play some. We got to talk
Yeah,
about it, of course.
this, I think, was one of those PC slow burns that Slay the Spire was as well. I
Yeah.
think it's one of those games that just kind of came out, really defined its niche, and then was well received over time. It just kind of grew to a fever pitch for the second one. And I think both games did that really well, and they're struggling to capitalize on it. Slay the Spire 2 keeps getting review bombed by doing the wrong things, and I'm hopeful that we don't see the same thing here. One thing that I know will sink Subnautica, though, they are launching on so many platforms right away. If they cannot crush the bugs as well as add new content quickly, the tides could be turning for them, and that's something I see down the road, that's for sure.
Ooh. Ian, you said Game Pass?
The Game Pass, for sure.
Dang.
I already downloaded it.
My Game Pass, man.
You got to jump back in. $23 is approved now. It was not approved purchase at 30, but now it is at 23.
Oh,
so.
Nice. And you're still getting everything with that $23, like everything you want.
That's the top tier. That's the top tier.
That's awesome.
Including Mixtape, we're going to talk about shortly.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
But first, let's move on to GTA because I'm dying to talk about that one. Tell me everything, and then we got to talk.
GTA 6 pre-orders could go live very soon. We could just be days away from one of the biggest moments in gaming this year. GTA 6 pre-orders officially going live. According to a leaked email sent to retail partners, pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6 could begin as early as Monday, May 18th. If that's legit, it likely means Rockstar is about to kick off the next major phase of its marketing push. And historically, when pre-orders go live, that's when we get the full breakdown, additions, bonuses, and most importantly, the price. That's where things get interesting. Some analysts are suggesting GTA 6 could push beyond the current $70 standards, with estimates pointing towards a potential $80 price tag for the base game. If that happens, it could mark a major shift for the entire industry as publishers continue to deal with rising development costs for massive AAA titles. There's also talk about how the game will roll out. Reports suggest the single-player campaign will be there at launch, while GTA Online could arrive later, similar to how Rockstar handled GTA 5. With a confirmed release date for November 19th, 2026, all signs point to Rockstar gearing up for a huge rollout. And if these leaks hold, we're about to learn exactly how much jumping into GTA 6 is going to cost. So, are you pre-ordering on Monday if this thing pans out? What do you think?
Hopefully. It's funny because a lot of our audience that listens to our podcast typically listens to it the following week. So they know already, and we don't know yet. They already know. Either it's been announced and they're like, oh, these idiots are really excited, but they're right. Or they're going to be like, oh, nothing happened. These guys are idiots again. And they're going to be depressed on Monday. So I love that, knowing that our audience, the majority of them, already knows what the answer is to this, but I don't care. I want to speculate wildly.
Leave a comment
anyway. Yeah,
leave a comment. Let us know what happened.
Exactly. Yes, future us, please. Here's my thing. Here's my big hope for this is that, yes, I'm dying to know the prices and the bundles. I am a little bit worried. I still think it might be that $100 for both GTA Online and the $70 game, but they're going to try and justify that $99.99 price, and I think that's unfortunately where we could be going. But it could soften the blow if they deliver a sweet trailer number 3. And that is also my guess here, is if they're going to start pre-orders, they're going to want those numbers for their investors to be big. Strauss Zelnick, we know, loves to tell a good story on his investor calls, and that's why so many people are on them. And that, what better story can you tell than record-breaking pre-sale numbers? And how do you get that? You get it with a new trailer that gets people hyped. So if I'm speculating correctly, Monday, oh man, I'm going to be super pumped and can't wait because it could be a really big day, or it could be a really big bummer. What do you think, Lord?
I think these are legit. I think this is going to happen. I think Monday will be the day. I think we're going to get a new trailer. I mean, it makes sense. Like, we're almost to November. Let's be honest. Like, Christmas is right around the corner. I was just thinking about how Halloween is like going to be here before we know it. And I'm like, dude, I got to start lining up my Halloween games. Like, I'm like, I'm ready to go. And seriously, like, I would be surprised if, like, I'm actually surprised we haven't been able to pre-order the game yet. Like, I feel like we're getting kind of close. So if Best Buy kind of blew this, sending it to the affiliate partner, and apparently it was sent to a Twitter affiliate guy who like does a lot of very legit content for drops and stuff, like kind of like a Wario 64. So I think this is legit. I think we're gonna get the pre-orders, and we'll finally get the price. I think it's got to be $80 for the base game. I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be 100 for the base game, and then who knows? Maybe the GTA Online will be separate, like a separate add-on purchase that you'll have to do, because Strauss Zelnick, he also mentioned like the evolution of pricing or something the other day, so that made me extremely nervous. So
Yeah.
I think we're in for a crazy price tag. Am I gonna pre-order though?
Yes, because I'm not going to
I
listen to you, and our audience refuses to listen to you complain about physical games
Yes.
if you're not going to pre-order the biggest game of the
Yeah.
generation.
You know what would really bum me out though? If they were just like, we're actually going all digital.
No, they're not
You
going to do
don't
that.
you don't
They're
think
not.
so? No.
No, not
They
on this
won't
one.
do
They
that.
don't want to leave. These people don't want to leave a penny on the table,
Okay.
and
So
and I'm
good.
here for it. Like, it's fine. They do put out a great game. It'll be interesting to see what they got. Here's my thing. If we're not right about Monday, if we're wrong about Monday and it's not pre-orders, then they have to wait until either June or July. And you don't want to do it in the summer like that, because people are
No.
out, they're not paying attention to video games. I think now actually would make sense from a captivity standpoint, because you
Yeah.
got Summer Game Fest, the old school RIP E3 situation coming up in June, and that's going to take so many people's attention. They know they don't need E3. They're too big for E3. They're not going to do anything at E3, which means they've either got to do it now or they've got to do it afterwards and during the summer. And I think you're right. I think they want those numbers, and I
Yeah.
think could be the real deal.
Yeah, I think so. And it would be really cool if they were smart. They would do pre-orders, trailer, and then maybe they had like a little gameplay snippet at the summer showcase. Just
That
saying.
would,
That would be
yeah,
nuts. Like, like a little, I know they
they
won't,
won't.
but how amazing would that be if we got like a little, like, 5-minute, like, oh, here's a little, like, look what you can do around the world. I'm sure they won't. But let's just take a second. If they do drop the trailer though, what do you want to see in it?
Oh man, I want the good trailer, the juicy trailer, the one where we get the British woman talking about all of the features in the
Oh,
game and everything. Like the
oh, you
5-minute
want
fatty
that?
where,
Okay,
yes,
then
I
if
want
you
the
want
real
that, then
deal.
I don't think we're gonna get any. We're not gonna get anything at Summer Showcase. That's like the big one.
Yeah.
So you think that's gonna be like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that, to be honest with you. I think we'll
Oh,
get that one closer to launch when they've got more of the features locked. So that's that you asked what I wanted versus
yeah.
what I
Okay.
think we're going to get. What I think we're going to get is another flashy showcase, razzle dazzle. What I really want is the one where we will get closer to launch, and
Yeah.
then they're going to explain the features. I don't think they're going to be completely feature locked. I think they are cramming to put. I believe there's passion behind this one, Lord, and they're trying to put
Yeah.
in as many features as they
Okay.
can.
Now
So they're not going to reveal their cards completely yet. So I think we get another razzle dazzle heisty one or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping. I wouldn't mind like seeing a little more like driving physics, maybe like just
More
just something.
gameplay. I
Yeah,
just want to
just
see
like,
gameplay. You
yeah,
know what I
maybe
mean?
even like a touch of gameplay. Like, I don't think that would be too much to ask. And what was it?
And I know people
Like,
are going to say, "Oh, there's gameplay in the trailers or whatever," but it's not real. Like, not enough. So
yeah,
F
no,
off.
that's what they were saying. Like, what was there was a headline not long ago where some artwork guy was like, yeah, and don't get your hopes up on the what you're seeing in that those GTA 6 trailers, because that's like not going to be what it's going to be like. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of crushing my
Everyone's
dreams.
talking out their ass. We don't know
I know.
until they
We
really
won't. But
release.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep my eyes out on Monday, and who knows? Maybe if I can get a physical copy, then yeah, who knows? I'll probably pre-order. To be honest.
I know. I'm super pumped. You better pre-order it. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to
know.
text you, call you, force you to
Yeah,
pre-order, because we don't want any of these
I know. I don't want any
crocodile
drama.
tears.
I don't want any drama.
Exactly. All right, speaking of drama, let's talk about PlayStation 6 because this is a little bit of a weird one. This was an article that came out last week or earlier this week, and it sounds kind of wild, but it's real. Sony actually said it has not decided yet when to launch the PlayStation 6 or how much it will cost. And the big reason is, of course, the memory chip shortage that everyone's using to price gouge. Wait, that's my editorial. In Sony's latest investor Q&A, the company said PlayStation 5 has now sold 93.7 million units. But the most recent quarter was rough. It moved just 1.5 million consoles, down from 2.8 in the same quarter a year ago. So you can see that they're probably having some incentive to launch something new here. Sony said its gaming forecast now includes investment, quote, in the next generation platform, which is the clearest official wink towards PlayStation 6 that we've had in a while. The problem, though, is cost. Reuters reports memory prices doubled in the first quarter of 2026 and could rise another 63% this quarter because of AI data centers are sucking up all the supply. Sony says it has enough materials for the rest of 2026, but beyond that, pricing a next-gen console gets a lot harder, which is why new management says it still hasn't locked in the launch window or price. With this response, it doesn't sound like Sony is hiding anything, and it feels more like Sony openly admitting that the economics for PlayStation 6 are still messy, especially after already raising the price of PlayStation 5 twice in under a year, which we still have not forgotten or forgiven.
Mm-mm.
All right, so Lord, with Valve still aiming to get the Steam machine out this year in 2026, and with Xbox set to talk more about Project Helix later this year before developers start getting hardware in 2027 dev kits, do you think Sony's smart to wait on PlayStation 6, or is this risk getting left behind while everyone else moves first?
I think it's crazy. I didn't realize that the PS5 was slowing down on sales. That's interesting. And it would make I don't
Well, it would
know.
help
I
if they
think
made games, unlike like a
well,
Wolverine, but
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, we're about to talk about Saros for here in a second, and man, I don't know. I think it would be. I think anybody getting a console out right now would be smart. Like, I think I don't know, delaying it. I don't know. I feel like the PS5 is still so underutilized. That's just my opinion. Even though I've been playing Crimson Desert and that actually feels like a next gen game to me. Like personally, like I'm like, wow, we're actually getting into next gen type of games. And like I hope they just, put it off and not, rush it, because I think there's still a lot of life left in the PS5, and so we're gonna have to just, I don't know. I like, let's just say this, like if the PS6 were to come out sooner, I don't think I'll be like getting in line, like waiting with bated breath to get my hands on it, like I was the PS5. Like I think I'll like let it chill for a while and see how that console goes. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff I'm not sure about Sony right now. What
yeah.
do you think?
No, I think this message was intended for Xbox. It's not really intended for consumers. Look,
Oh,
they
okay.
do have dropping sales on their consoles, but what do they care?
Yeah.
Because Grand Theft Auto 6 is just around the corner, and that is going to
Yep.
prop up the whole industry for the end of the year. So they can rest on their laurels. They don't have to do anything for the rest of this year because of that. It's next year that they kind of got to get serious about, and that's
Yeah.
really where the price of memory is going to kick in. If they
Yeah.
can convince Microsoft to hold off, this is a message they're sending to your girl Asha. They're saying, let's hold off together,
Yes.
and we'll see how Microsoft receives that, because they have said dev kits in 2027, which would make you think that it would be, consoles potentially at the end of 2027, but maybe Microsoft decides to wait too. The thing is, I think Asha's going to look at what happened in the 360 and be like, well, there's a first mover advantage, but that's a mistake because
Yeah.
everything now is so backwards compatible. No one buys a new console unless there are new games for it, unless they're an idiot like me. And I went and bought the Switch 2, and it's one of the biggest disappointments of my life because they've only made 3 games for it. So I feel like people know you don't have to upgrade right away anymore. There's no impetus to get your machine out there. The real thing is, once you get your machine out there, make sure it does something new and special. And whether that's everyone hates AI, but if it's on your chips and makes your games look beautiful, I think they'll get over it. Or whether it's PlayStation's like, wait, we're doing a handheld now. They've got to do something new and different from these consoles. And I could see why they want to wait, because they want to perfect the sauce before they launch. But I don't know that they have time, because these consoles are aging pretty fast. But then again, your audience is going to be price sensitive. So you're right. They're damned if they do and then damned if they don't.
Yeah. Oh man, I sure hope the emphasis isn't on the AI chips and the AI upscaling and all the
I do. I
stuff
want
with
it
next
all.
gen.
I think it looks
I
good.
know you do, and I'm
I love
like,
it.
I just feel like
I want good graphics. I want better graphics. I want realistic graphics. I don't want dead heads with
yeah,
dead eyes just staring there talking at
uh,
me,
I
boring. I want direction and movement and music and
yeah,
emotion and someone who's not dead speaking. Like,
I feel
oh,
like they I don't know. There could be like if they do that, there could be an emphasis on like keeping it connected to the internet all the time, or like it needs internet, it needs to always have different stuff. And
that's so far like conspiracy theory.
no, I
Although
mean, I
your
think it.
friend Sony did just kind of change their
I
requirements
mean,
for the internet connectivity.
yeah, I feel like different stuff like that, like weird AI stuff, is just an easy way for them to be like, oh, and by the
Your
way, this always has to be connected to the internet to work.
your weird AI stuff.
I know. Well, I'm just saying, like, it makes sense. Like, why
No, I
not? If
know.
they want that, especially if they're like concerned about DRM or whatever, just be like, oh yeah, now you have to connect to the internet all the time, and consumers are like, oh well, you're right, you have that AI stuff, okay. But I don't know. I think we're a ways away. I think like I liked that point about sending the message to Microsoft. I don't think like if Valve is lagging getting their machine out, I think other companies are definitely going to be on the struggle buses with components. I think we're a ways. I'd be surprised if they get out something sooner than later for both parties, just with component prices. I know Sony says they have like a secret stash. They had a secret weed stash of RAM somewhere, but like I don't know. I think they're definitely going to have to delay until whatever the component uh, stuff comes down in price.
Yeah, I can see Sony waiting. I don't know about Xbox because they want to stay competitive with Steam in the PC
Yeah,
business in your living room. So
good point. Good
it's a
point.
weird situation and one to watch.
It is.
All right, moving on though. Let's talk about some video games again. Let's talk about Mixtape. You have a
Let's
story
do
for
it.
us.
So yeah, so like Mixtape, just for anyone who doesn't know, is like a '90s nostalgia, like kind of like what, like it's almost like a classic Telltale sort of game that's just like very story driven. And here's just a little tidbit here. So while Mixtape has earned praise for its style and soundtrack, its mid to negative Metacritic reviews highlight concern that about shallow gameplay, short length, and a story that doesn't fully land for everyone. So here's those range of reviews here. So IGN, they gave it a 100, and they say a musical
Whoa.
delight from start to finish. Mixtape sets a new standard for coming of age stories in video games and does so with a masterful sense of style. PC Gamer gave it a 74. They say lovely, beautiful, heartwarming, and unable to convince me it needed my input as a player at all. And then Cubed 3, which I couldn't full like I'm like Cubed 3, all right. It gave it a 40. And this is what they had to say. The nicest thing that can be said about Mixtape is that it has imaginative visuals and that the animation quality is pretty good. Adventure game fans won't find much intrigue or excitement because the experience is suffocatingly automated and all the set pieces offer no challenge. The biggest sin Mixtape commits is that it's ultimately insufferably boring and pretentious. Okay, so that's kind of a wild one. And
Yeah.
then right now, there are, this is just a side note that I wanted to throw in there. There's 764 players currently in game at the time of writing this up. So before I go into any deeper, Dan, you played it. What do
Yes.
you think? Why don't we go into that first?
okay, so I know this is a controversial game for all of the reasons that you highlighted.
Yeah.
Because for some people, like initially me, were like, this is just reviewer bait and hipster bait, and of course everyone's gonna love it.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
bullshit. It's not even a real video game. And then some people are like, wow, this is doing something different here. This is something that is to be celebrated and could be potentially game of the year. And I'm like, okay, whoa, on
Wait.
both sides. Yeah. Because I
Yes.
know this is one of those games that is going to be brought up and in the discussions for game of the year. I guarantee it because it's got that sort of
Absolutely.
critic bait written all over it. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about it. First off, you did the review for Life is Strange 2 or something
I
like
did.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you liked that game, no?
Yeah. I did like that
Okay.
game.
This is that, but it's really good.
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so this one has vibes for days, man. It is so I wish like movies could be as well written, let alone video games, as this one. Now, let me tell you, let me explain that. This is just dialogue. It's just friends talking in a room, and it feels very natural and conversational. And the way that they speak to each other, it felt like you're hanging out with your buddies. And I loved that about this game. Yes, it is boring AF. And yes, the music is pretentious. And let me explain why it's pretentious. The
Let's
girl,
hear it.
she loves music. She wants to be a music supervisor and movies and stuff. And so she tries to find the most obscure stuff. And so when she plays it, she kind of explains why she's playing it, but it is unknown to everyone, and including me, who lived through the decade and these are not hits or anything I've really heard of. These are very obscure things. So I
Mhm.
can appreciate the fact that they're not doing it to be annoying, which a lot of, hipster bait do. They're doing this because this is the character's passion for music. And I don't know. I feel like if you'll know immediately if this game is for you or for not, if or not. Like, I don't love walking sims, and I can, the nicest thing I can say is this game is a very good walking sim. I do like the music. I do like the dialogue. It's not when I'm in the mood for a shooter. It's like maybe if I'm hungover. Like, this is not like it's not a game for like an action kind of experience. So it has its merits. It's not game of the year. Don't calm down, critics. And it's not the worst thing ever. Look, if a walking sim's not your thing, you know what this is. Just don't play it. For me, this was on Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay for it. I found a pleasant experience with it. I truly enjoyed the writing. That was standout for me. While yes, the gameplay was a little bit like whatever. So I thought it was good. It's just more controversial than I thought.
Yeah. No, because let me tell you, Twitter on fire about this game. They're going absolutely insane, and
Do they hate it? What do
they
they
hate
say?
it. Oh,
Oh,
Twitter is like, they hate this game like more than
what?
anything. Oh yeah, it's crazy. I was
Why
gonna,
not hate Life
I
is Strange? Because this is like a better version of that. It feels the same.
because I think the earlier Life is Stranges are so beloved that they kind of get away with
Then
that
this is going to
in
be
the
one of those niche cult hit things. People are going to forget about it. They're going to calm down. People,
and
hipsters in like
come
a
back.
decade will discover this. They'll brush it off and they'll be like, "Yeah, this is a
That's a
really good
good
game."
good point. Well, let me ask you this: do you not have to actually hit buttons to
You do.
successfully get through stuff? Because I hear you don't have to hit buttons at all.
So you do, like, you're walking through a lot of these kids' rooms and you're looking at their things and they're talking about their experiences in life and they're talking to each other.
Mhm.
In fact, the biggest compliment I can pay this game is that I actually tried to hear all of the dialogue before moving on. And then yes, there are some boring experiences in between. They're like trying to score some booze for a party, so it's a very super bad in a way. But it's more, a little bit more endearing than that. And then in between different set pieces, they have really fun skateboarding segments and stuff like that. So it's just vibes, man. It's just that's
It
I mean, I
yeah.
know that's so cliche to say, but it is vibes, dude. It's so like they
Huh.
just are cool and chill and fun to hang out with.
Okay. Well, hey, I haven't played it yet, so I can't, throw my hat in the ring quite yet. But I'm trying to figure out, like, because it's. I mean, I didn't realize that it was only like 20. I think it's on sale right now for like $18, so it's like not even that expensive,
Right.
even
And
if you
I don't
don't.
even know if you need to pay that. I would probably wait too.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit magic here. And I'm not saying it's the
Yeah.
greatest game. but it
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
standout walking sim among other walking sims. I will say
Yes.
that about it.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up for me at least because I was like maybe I don't know. Like I don't know where my absolute despise, should I despise this game or Dan's going to land me safely back to earth?
I know, honestly, I thought I was going to hate it too. I thought I was going to hate it, and
Cool.
again, it just goes to the acting and the dialogue, and it's just like you, like I think one of this is going to be some so serious bullshit I'm going to regret saying, but I think what it is like if you are a little bit older and you're emotionally intelligent and you can kind of connect back to when you were a teenager experiencing those things,
Mhm.
there are some universal experiences and things and feelings that happen when you are younger like that. And this is just like you look at them and you just kind of laugh and you think about when you're back in that period, and
Hmm.
it's just so nice is all I can say.
Huh. Okay, hey, I like that. I think yeah, the emotional intelligence over on Twitter not the highest. Let's
Yes,
be real.
I agree. I can
So
definitely see.
but I
I'm
love
all
I
for
mean, yeah.
shooting things in the face too. I'm all for
Oh, me too.
Fortnite and all that sort of stuff. But
Oh, of
a
course.
good rounded diet of video games is fine. Do I think you should
Yeah.
pay $18 for it? No, just wait.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Okay, well, I'm glad. Okay, well, I'm glad you had got your hands on it. That's awesome. That's exactly what I need
Yeah,
to know. See, now I just know that you can ignore those loud voices on social media from time to time.
for sure.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, and this is just like the perfect game. Like if you're exhausted, you don't want to get competitive in Fortnite. You just got home from work. You could throw this on instead of watching TV. Like I ate a sandwich
I love that.
while like playing this game, exhausted, and it was just like, you know what? This is fucking better than a movie. That's what I thought.
Nice. Cool. Good to know. Thanks for the heads up.
No problem. And one thing I'd like to know while we're talking video games is whether Soros is any good or not, because we keep bringing it up, and unfortunately, it's not the best reason this
Uh,
week.
yeah. So PS5 exclusive Saros gets off to a lukewarm start. That's in quotations, lukewarm. Sony's latest PS5 exclusive Saros isn't exactly lighting up the sales charts. According to analyst estimates, the game has sold just over 300,000 copies in its first 2 weeks, bringing in around 200 or 22 million in revenue. That would have been crazy. That might sound solid, but context matters. Saros is actually tracking slightly behind Returnal, despite launching to a massively larger PS5 install base that's now close to 100 million units. So what's going on? Analysts say timing is a big factor. When Returnal launched in 2021, PS5 owners were starving for new exclusives. Fast forward to 2026, and Saros is competing with a stacked lineup of recent hits, giving players away to more options. There's also the reality that Saros is a more niche title, a tough roguelite shooter without the mass appeal of something like God of War. That makes it harder to sell at that full $70 price point. The interesting twist, engagement is actually strong. Early data shows a significant chunk of players are putting in serious time, suggesting that while the audience is smaller, it's highly invested. That says, so yeah, not a breakout hit, but not a flop either. Right now, Saros looks like a classic case of great games struggling to stand out in a very crowded market. This is just my aside. I think PlayStation without a doubt needed to hit here. So I mean, they mention, crowded marketplace, but what do you think is going on here?
They're being nice when they're saying crowded marketplace. That's
I
for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like crowded.
I
Hello?
think maybe Returnal wasn't the hit that everyone said it was, and that's when you gotta take critics like words, and you gotta kind of like take you can't believe everything that critics say, because I think that everyone might have jumped on Returnal on this one because you're right, there wasn't a lot of content, but it also didn't have the quality of life fixes, and kind of had the issues and like not being able to save between runs and all that sort of that might have turned off quite a few people. I always think that the sequel like hype is always based on the performance of the one that came before it, and you would think that the Returnal hype was there, but maybe it was just more of a critical thing.
I mean, I hype Returnal up all the damn time.
Yeah, bitch, but you didn't buy Soros, did you?
You're
You
right.
are the
No.
problem.
No, I mean, I gotta be honest. The story just sounded whack. Like I read all about the story, and I'm just like, this thing does not like they. I'm not even going to spoil it, but the story just
We
sounded
know
like
you're a lore
stupid as
hound, though.
shit.
You love the lore.
I
You have
know,
made that
and I'm
clear.
like, no, this sounds so dumb. And like Kotaku even they tried to say like Saros was at this in misinformation campaign or something, and it turns out that it's like not really that way. It was just the beats were just a little bit changed in this, of course, harkening back to Twitter. But I don't know. I'm just like, dude, the story was not as good, and I think that got out that the story was just like jacked. And I think when it's revealed that these stories are messed up, I think that hurts game sales a lot more than people let on. Like I think jacked up stories really hurt game sales because I thought
You were just
Returnal.
talking about Crimson Desert 2 seconds ago.
Well,
And you talk about jacked up story. That wasn't
I
even
like
have one.
that story is told through really cool flashbacks that you put on this helmet and you kind of like flash your sword around, and I think that's genius. Like that's a unique way of storytelling.
Okay, fine, but you have to admit that Crimson Desert is not known for its story. People not say that's one of the strengths of the game.
No, it's true, but it's like a more, I don't even know what it is. It's simplified because the world is so vast. And you just like get so much out of the world. You get weird tidbits from all different angles. It's like if you had a really complex story on top of that, it would be, I think, probably a bit much. But I don't know. I just think, man, PS5 exclusives these days, like what is a solid PS5 exclusive? What was the last? Can you name the last one that's like what was really good?
You're gonna get me in trouble, bro.
Well,
I'm gonna cut this part
well,
out.
I can't even freaking I can't remember the last one. I'll just put yeah, it seems like PS5 really could have used something with this. So I don't know. I don't think Soros. I doubt is even. Who knows? Maybe they're not even sold that many units yet. But we'll keep an eye on it. And who knows? Maybe they'll port it to PC one of these days.
Yep, definitely. Could be interesting to see what it does there, if anything at all.
Yeah, seriously.
Oy. Well, that wraps up all our video game news stories we've got for this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. On behalf of my buddy Matt Lord and myself, Dan Whitehill, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.